salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're a week out from the haircut, so it looks better than it did last week. Feeling good. Probably.
And we are live
on
Facebook.
Thank you for joining us. Colin's coming around the corner here because he's the one who always starts the camera. Again, thank you for joining us. That's number 2. We're happy to have you here. This is Salt of the Streets, episode 52, live stream pre-show. It's going to be a great fucking show today. Before we go any further, I want to hit all the social medias. Facebook right here, you're watching us live at Salt of the Streets. We have our YouTube at Salt of the Streets that all of our videos go to. So next week you can find this video and the full episode video on YouTube. We have our personal social medias, Twitter at fucking Salt of the Street, Instagram @pack_Donovan for me. He's a Big Bird Offie on both those things. We have Salt of the Streets, Instagram at Salt of the Streets. We have the YouTube at Salt of the Streets, which I already talked about. I'm pretty sure that that's everything. saltofthestreets.com for absolutely everything that we do. The episodes, the blog posts, the audio blog posts, the videos. It's all there. That's it. We're out here. I think that's the last thing. Here's this.
I even remembered to post my
good
blog
morning,
post.
Kathy.
Morning, Kathy.
Yep.
I mean, good afternoon.
Yeah, because it's 12:30 now.
Boom.
That's all right.
We ride the fine line between the AM and the PM over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you remember to put your blog post up this week on the website.
Finally.
So that's always nice. That was pretty good. I listened to it at work yesterday about intersectionality and what you call the culture war.
Indeed.
That was pretty good.
It's a small passion of mine.
Yeah. It's something that we could discuss forever. And it's interesting because it's so subjective, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's so totally based off of your life experience and the people that you know, how you view all of these different individual, like you said, kind of intersectional issues, you know, that deal with race and with, gender and sexual
whatever.
Orientation, education, fiscal standing, you know, all this. So
all of it.
It's very interesting.
And they're adding new categories every day.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit of big picture stuff today. Zeke actually sent me in some topics. And he told me yesterday that his goal is to discuss things with me that make me challenge my ideas. Like he wants to bring something up to me that he thinks that I would shut down immediately.
Okay.
So far, the 2 things that he's brought up, I've been totally in favor of, and he thought I was going to be against them. So, so that's always interesting. So I'm excited to see how that goes the rest of the time. We are going to talk about a recent Joe Rogan that came out last week that Tim Pool was on. He is a journalist. What type of journalist? Independent journalist. That's what I'm trying to think of. An independent journalist. Jack Dorsey was on there, who's the CEO of Twitter, and Vijay Gotti. So I listened to a Dave Rubin who has to do with like personal security and safety on Twitter, and with like banning people and the shit that you can and can't say on Twitter. So I also listened to Tim Pool before we talk about that more and what else we're going to talk about. I listened to Tim Pool on Dave Rubin earlier this week. I haven't irritated the shit out of me. He mispronounced her name the entire time he was on Dave Rubin, which irritated me because I know you know better because you just sat down with her for 3.5 hours on Joe Rogan. And now you're purposefully choosing to not correct Dave Rubin because he doesn't know, and also to say her name incorrectly.
How were they saying it? Vija?
Yeah.
Or
fucking...
Because even Joe had to ask at the beginning, but
it irritated me that I knew that he knew better because he just spoke to her for 3.5 hours and choose to mispronounce her name.
Oh, so this is a more recent episode of
this came
Dave
out
Rubin?
This week.
Okay.
That Tim Pool was on there because it was in reaction to the episode of Joe Rogan he was on. So they talked about all these Twitter issues and whatnot.
Man,
right?
That makes me feel bad. So I haven't watched Dave Rubin in so long.
I know that he knows better, and that really irritated me because he's just being a dick. You know, he's just being an asshole.
Well, like he is kind of just a general.
He is kind of a douche.
Dick.
But
there's apparently a piece of confetti in my pocket that has been in my pants since New Year's Eve.
Wash your pants.
I do wash my pants.
Wash your pants, bitch.
These just came out of the washer like the other day. That's so funny. Happy New Year.
So Tim Pool, what were you saying?
Tim Pool, and I'm trying to remember the word he was just trying to use, because I've listened to this now this is the third time. I got like 18 minutes left in this last one. I've listened to it 3 times now. And Tim Pool has a tendency to pronounce things like, and I know he didn't do this here, but sheriff. Yeah, the sheriff. Yes, sheriff. What the hell is a sheriff? It's a sheriff. It's a sheriff. It's like advertisement and advertisement. So
industry.
So that might just be his thing. He just pronounces things weird, maybe.
I guess I can't recall him saying her name on Joe Rogan's podcast, so maybe he couldn't pronounce it, and that's why he didn't. But
he just missed it right off the front.
But I know that he knows that it's different, and even if he says it differently, when Dave Rubin says it incorrectly, he should tell him that that's not how it is.
Yeah, this is true.
Anyway, that was a personal issue, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the anti-bigotry resolution that just passed in the House of Representatives earlier this week. I know Colin loves that. We are going to talk about House Bill 1638, which is a local Washington State piece of legislation that we talked about in episode 48 a couple weeks ago. But we're going to talk about it again this week. It has to do with removing the personal exemptions from vaccinating your children in order for them to go into public school and daycares and shit like that. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that because someone actually asked me about that at the weed store yesterday.
Interesting.
When I dropped off the business cards there, and I was just telling the woman about what the podcast is about and this is what we're doing. And she's like, well, have you guys talked about, the new bill that's going to do this? I said, so we did talk about it, and she asked me how I felt. And I said, without giving too much away, that I personally am in favor of vaccinating your children because I think that it exists for a reason. I said, but the libertarian part of my soul cannot stand anybody, especially the government, telling me what I have to put in my child or my own body. Yeah.
That gets weird because to steal a line from Alex Jones, they're putting stuff in the water. They're making the fucking frogs gay. What happens if you have a bad actor that pumps the vaccines full of, I don't know. It's unrealistic.
And it's especially difficult because it's something that I agree with. It's not like it's something that I wholly disagree with anyway. So I'm like, well, fuck that as a whole. Like, well, I think this is a good thing because I think people should be doing this anyway, but you can't force intelligence on people, you can't make them not be ignorant. And this is kind of what that is. Like, well, if you're not going to educate yourself, we're just going to make you do it anyway.
I have this new thing that I say just about once a week, if not more. So why can't you fix stupid?
Nothing to do about it.
Why can't we fix stupid? I wish I could fix stupid on, everyday matters. But we'll get into all the nuanced discussion of that coming up.
Yes. And then I have something I want to bring up about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I got some good pop culture, some stuff that I was watching earlier this week. I watched The Twilight Zone from 63 a couple weeks ago. I watched Jeffrey Dahmer. I watched The Terminators. So I want to talk about some movies like that. I watched 2 of The Terminators. These are movies I've watched over the last couple weeks, not just this week. So
I was like, dude, how did you do that?
No. I want to talk about Colin Kaepernick in sports because we've talked about Colin Kaepernick numerous times, but after watching The Shop this morning, right, and they were talking about Colin Kaepernick.
The Shop being LeBron James's.
Yes, sorry. So The Shop is a show that LeBron James does on HBO where he has comedians on there. There are athletes on there. There are musicians on there. Like Drake has been on there. Meek Mill was on there on the episode that Antonio Brown was on. Jamie Foxx was on there this last week. So I was watching that show and they were talking about Colin Kaepernick and I wanted to clarify my position on Colin Kaepernick, right? Because I feel that I have been... Not that I don't stand by the things that I've said in the past because I very much feel that way, but I feel as though I have come off very harsh and it seems like I don't like him at all and maybe I don't support what he's doing and I don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to kind of give it a bigger roundabout and clarify exactly how I feel about Colin Kaepernick, what I do and do not agree with about what he did and the situation that he found himself in. So I want to talk about that. Before we go any further, though, I need you to tell everybody what you ate today before we started this show, just so that they know that they're going to get a full show out of you.
I'm not going down.
Yeah, we're not going to lose you halfway.
Hey, you were the one that almost had a heart attack the other day, okay? Come on now. No, I had a homemade breakfast today of some delicious southwestern style hash browns with like the jalapenos and peppers and stuff like that.
Nice.
Sauteed those up real good and some Irish Gold butter. You ever had the Irish Gold butter?
You have told me about it. I remember there was one day where Carolina came home from grocery shopping. Either after we did the pre-show, we weren't recording yet for some reason, right? Mm-hmm. And someone had accidentally, before I welcome everybody who just walked in, she had come home accidentally with margarine, and you guys were like, "No, we don't eat that shit. Like, I don't want that." Blah,
I ain't
blah.
touching that.
And so then you went on about, "No, we don't fuck with that. Like, well, I only fuck with this fucking
Real
Irish butter. Like
that's
this
right.
real shit. It comes in a roll. It comes like wrapped in gold or some shit. Like that's like that's the only butter that I fuck with."
Bar.
Yeah, and so that's the only time I ever heard of that. But I have heard of your Irish butter. You swear by it, right?
I
you
do.
Swear that it
is the butteriest butter ever.
It's better than.
But
like,
again, unless you're baking, you have to use salted butter. Okay, this is coming from a guy who has spent most of my adult life in the culinary field.
You think that you're supposed to be cooking with salted butter, not
Yes.
unsalted butter?
Yes,
Okay.
because you get more of the flavor. It just pops. It makes that butter pop.
Interesting.
But anyways, hash browns with that gold, sweet, delicious butter.
Like some home fries, right? Like cut up potatoes.
No, this is like the shredded kind.
Word.
Yeah. What's better in your mind? We're just going to make this a whole food pre-show.
So I like my hash browns, breakfast potatoes of any kind, super crispy. But like soft on the inside.
Yes.
Like
that's mashed potatoes on the inside with a crust on
it's very important to me.
Yes.
So
you have good taste.
I like hash browns when they're done well. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you'll even go out to breakfast and be like, yeah, can I have hash browns? But can I have them fucking crispy? Like, I don't want you to burn them, but I want them to crunch,
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, totally. And then you get some shit that's like,
it's like some soggy mess.
It's browned. And you're like, well, fuck me, because I really don't want these. Like, this is gross, And I don't like when you bite into a home fry and the shit is hard in the middle.
Nope.
Like there needs to be uniformity to get to that. It's a whole deal. So
you were describing the way your hash browns are supposed to be, though. That is good. You have great taste in hash browns. Let me just say this.
In a perfect world, I would probably go with like home fries, like some diced up potatoes that are fried and nice and crispy on the outside.
Bigger chunks or smaller? You want like the bigger, like say like quarter size?
So my mom, actually, shout out mom, she sometimes will just slice them into like discs.
Oh.
And that's heat. Because that's how it's done at the Oak Table too. They do that too.
Yes.
And that's fire. So shout out mom, because the round hash browns, that's the way to do it. Is if you just slice a potato. It's almost like so this is going to be one of the...
Shout out Kathy. You know what you are doing.
This is one of the deep cooking terms that I know, right? It's almost like a Hasselbeck potato. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? So
clap.
For those who don't know, right? So you take a potato and you slice it, but not all the way. Like it's still held together at the bottom, and then you toss like seasonings and flour and shit in between all the layers, and then you fucking bake it. And it's all delicious. And then
it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So that's if I had to pick it, it would be round potatoes.
Very nice.
What should we call those?
Just call them Kathy style.
Just Kathy style.
Yeah. I want hash browns Kathy style.
Kathy style. Yeah, they're bomb.
Yeah, she's got a good name for like a term like that.
Yeah.
Kathy style.
Is that how you did them this morning, or were they? Oh no, they were the shredded ones.
Shredded kind.
Did you make them yourself, or were they out of a bag?
Oh, they're out of the bag.
Jordan
I don't got time for that. I got a podcast to do on Saturday.
Jordan made them fresh one time like that. Takes fucking forever.
Yes.
Because you have to like shred it up and then wet them and then wring out the potatoes and then like let them dry. You have to get all the starch out of it, or else it'll stick. It was really good though. She made one big one and then we just cut it up like into slices.
That's a good way to do it.
That was the way to go. Because if you don't have we have like a skillet now, and that would definitely be easier. But when you're just doing it on a pan, you almost have to just do a round. Like,
that's what I usually just
one
make a
large
little
hash brown.
Yep, that's what I do.
Just cut it in half. Like
I got a small pan that's perfect. It's like the perfect size for it.
Like a cheap oven pizza, like a Totinos pizza. That's like $1. Like when you eat it, you don't cut it in a slice. You just cut it in half, and you just like eat the half. So you know what I'm saying?
No,
quarters at the most.
You fold it.
You just fold
like
it
a taco.
like a pizza.
That's
taco.
the way I do it.
Yeah.
With those little tiny. What were they? Totinos or Tostinos? There was like a specific brand that you did it with.
So there's like a Totinos pizza that's like this big. I'm interested. Please, everybody, tell us in the comments how you would eat a Totinos pizza, because that's what we do. We just sliced them in half, and you just eat half pizza. So Totinos pizza is like this big, but then there's like this big. Then there's like a Red Baron pizza. Yeah, that comes in like a little tray almost.
Yeah, it's like almost like a deep dish.
Yeah.
The pepperoni.
And yes. Oh. Yeah, and that's like this big, and those are bomb. You could, they are deep dish.
Best
that would be
pre-show ever. By the way.
That's how
I still haven't even finished what I told you.
Morgan
ate
said
for breakfast.
taco style on the Totino's
Thank
pizza.
you, Morgan.
That's what,
Ginger Ninja, she knows what's up, man.
Taco style, and that does seem like the easiest way, because there's not enough anything on a Totino's pizza for it to fall out. Like it's all it's because it's so cheap that everything is right there. But
this is why you fold in a taco. It's literally designed to do that.
But like a Red Baron pizza has like actual sauce on it, instead of just like a layer of red paste. Like it's like actual sauce. So if you were to fold it,
to
like
a pizza,
shit might fall out. Yeah. Like how a Hot Pocket should be. Like a Hot Pocket would be even better if it was actually full of shit instead of like halfway full of stuff. When was the last time you even had a Hot Pocket?
Yeah.
Can you even recall the last time you had a Hot Pocket?
It was probably like 2007.
So Hot Pockets now are miles better than they used to be, if you don't already know. They're like, not that I'm trying to advocate for like the, the consumption of a Hot Pocket, but
it's 2019. You'd think they could do better than they did like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because what is a Hot Pocket other than like a technologically advanced food product?
Yeah.
There's always ways to make improvements on that. It's not real food.
Shawnee said she eats some taco style too. And also, do you remember last week when we talked about Tommy John's?
Yes.
So I got a homeboy named Eric. Shout out Eric. He's watching right now that I went to school with. He said that, he also said the Hot Pockets are the dream. He said that he listened to last week when we talked about Tommy John's, and that we were spot on when we talked about players coming back better than they were before. Yeah. After having Tommy John's.
That's good to know.
So that is it's a thing that's happening now. So he said the Hot Pockets are dank, right? They are heat, because you are correct that they used to be shit. Like they were terrible, but they have redone. There was a whole campaign about it. I can't believe, but you must have been like, on the
I
East
haven't had like cable or anything.
So you
like
must
that.
have not even
I don't
had
see commercials. I don't know nothing.
Whole campaign about the crust is now like a garlicky fucking, like it tastes better. The shell is actually like good now. Ooh. And then there's more actual pepperoni in there instead of the little square chunks of pepperoni. Like it's actual slices of pepperoni.
I like the square chunks.
Well, and that's in there too. But I mean, there's actual pepperoni in there.
That's good.
So they are miles better than they were 10 years ago.
That's good.
That I promise you.
Still not going to eat one.
And maybe I'll buy you some Hot Pockets for your birthday, just so you can see what's up.
I feel like the only way I would ever want to eat a Hot Pocket is just the pizza kind, though, because they make a bunch of different kinds, don't they?
Oh yeah, I feel
like at that point it's just like it's like a fake fast food calzone.
Yeah,
that I'll eat. I might try that one.
Yeah,
we'll say that.
Eric said he added 5 miles per hour to his throwing speed after Tommy John's.
So Eric had Tommy John surgery?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had it, so he said that we were correct about that, and he said that he added about 5 miles per hour to his throw after Tommy John.
And that's just because what were we like the tendon they put in there
that's replaced
is bigger and
is
stuff?
Stronger, than the one that's in there before.
Yeah.
So it's a higher quality.
That's some crazy like human hybrid advancing surgery, man.
Yeah.
It's like plastic surgery that could be beneficial, not just superficial. I
have heard, like, obviously not enough for it to be a problem now because people are still having it. Like, pros are still having Tommy John's coming back. But it is, I have heard it discussed before that it's, not that it's like, well, that's unfair, but it's starting to edge in the realm of, something not.
And like at a professional level,
Yes.
5 miles an hour
performance
can be
enhancer.
huge.
Make a big difference.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I could see that, probably not so much for the people that just can't throw 100 miles an hour.
But if it's making the difference between 95 and 100, that's a big difference.
That's a game changer at that point.
Or between 100 and 105.
It could mean the difference between like having a good career and then having a Hall of Fame career.
Incredible career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit.
And I think that that's very interesting, because it's obviously not taking steroids because it's something that's like, if your elbow's fucked up, you got to have Tommy Johns, like you got to get your elbow repaired. But
it's either that or your elbow's screwed.
Or you can't play anymore. Yeah. And it certainly makes more sense for a team to want to pay for you to get your arm fixed than to waste, like I said, if you're in your second week of a 13-year contract, like they signed last week, and you have to have Tommy Johns. It makes way more sense for them to pay for you to have surgery than to just be like, all right, well, we'll play you until you can't play anymore, and then you can just retire. Like,
and it makes me wonder, is that something that you might have to look at for making like like you said, a performance enhancing, I don't know, rule, law. I don't know what they call them in there. It's just rules or regulations or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it has to do with like it's just a policy against performance enhancing drugs that they would have. So since some colleges actually look for guys that have already had a Tommy John, so they don't have to have it later.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's done.
Yeah.
Bigger, stronger, faster than you were before.
It just takes a while to recover from it.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. All right, time to create a new league of superhuman MLB players.
Yeah.
MLB, major. What does MLB stand for?
Major League Baseball.
Yeah. And then, so it's MLB, NBA,
National Basketball Association,
National
NFL.
Football League,
yep,
NHL, National Hockey League.
Yep.
There you go. Why did I feel like I had to go make sure I knew every single one of those?
Eric, do you happen to know of course you know, how long did it take you personally to recover from Tommy John's? We got someone else who's asking how long the recovery time is, and I didn't look it up last time, but so we'll wait around another minute, see if we can't get that answer out of Eric. I'm sure we can.
I wonder what, how Joe Rogan talks about, injury recovery a whole lot.
Yes.
I wonder if you can combine Tommy John's with like some stem cell therapy to increase your rehabilitation time.
That's interesting.
I wonder.
Do you know?
That'd be a conversation.
Todd Gurley's having some stem cell therapy.
Oh.
And I think on his knee.
Seems to be something that like I hear a lot of good things about.
Yeah.
I've never looked into the numbers, but just I hear a lot of good things about it.
Yeah. Eric says that his recovery time was about 9 months before he was throwing again, but a year until he was actually pitching again.
Yeah.
So
it takes time to, once you can throw, now you have to try to get back to where you were throwing.
Yeah. Well, that's similar to like an ACL tear. Like if you fuck your ACL, it's going to be replaced. And I got to imagine the whatever, I don't remember what we called it, but whatever tendon that is similar to, the same idea to what your ACL would be in your knee. It's pretty structurally important because there are some people who tear their ACL and go down because they can't fucking walk. And there's some people who tear their ACL and don't ever know about it. Like,
really?
Yes, that's totally possible that you can tear your ACL and have no fucking idea.
That's weird.
That's a thing. And some people have torn ACLs and walk around with it. Like it just depends.
Never heard of that.
That's totally a thing.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That is a thing. I talked to Ryan at work about it, and like the guy, a dude who works at my bank, he has like a 40% ACL tear or something like that, and he's like, I just don't have the money to get it fixed. He's like, I just don't play community basketball anymore because I can't run around. Yeah, so that is a thing that happens. So I think that's very interesting, and it takes. If you're playing in the NFL, you tear your ACL, it's going to be a year before you're back on the field playing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and so that could be a possible career ender.
Yeah.
But if for this Tommy John surgery, is that something now that you might actually be able to come back and demand a little bit more money?
Yeah.
Because now you're going to be 5% better.
Well, and that's.
Maybe.
And when you tear your ACL, you don't come back better. Like you're at risk of tearing it again. Yeah. Like it's not.
So it's essentially the same type of thing, but you actually come out on top this time. Could be a game changer, man.
The ulnar collateral ligament. They took piece of my left calf muscle to replace it. Ooh. So they took part of his left calf and put that. So it's a muscle then instead of a ligament, if I'm understanding this correctly. That would, in fact.
Either way, you're talking about
unless it's a ligament out of his left calf. One of those things, but
unless you're talking about something. Yeah, if it's like a muscle or something like that, it could be different. But if it's like a tendon,
yeah,
you're talking about
supporting
a part of your area. Yeah, an area of your body that is so much more stronger.
Well, and this
part
particular dude, Eric, is one of the larger dudes I've ever known in my life.
Oh, yeah?
Like, he was always the person that was larger than me in school. Like, he's probably your height, but, like, my build plus more. Like, and it just, in absolute, just...
Yeah,
just
mountain of
enormous...
flesh.
Yeah, no, he's just a huge...
Should have been an NFL player.
And his mom... Oh, my God. His mom sits in front of Nikki at work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the largest, like one of the largest dudes I've ever met that isn't a professional athlete or a wrestler or something, like he's just a guy, that's his mom. One of the littlest ladies I've ever met. Like as little as my mom.
She is tiny.
That's so there you go.
Funny.
That's how you know. You've probably seen this kid before. And just
I think I have.
Like, yeah. That's him.
Very nice.
So
now I have a face to the name.
There you go.
Well, how long are we doing on this pre-show? We've just been rolling. We are
sitting at 25 minutes. And that is about it because I got to get out of here. I got to be home at 4 today. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I don't want to shout out all of you because I don't want to show your personal information, but Eric and my mom and them because we talked about you. Whoop, whoop. Thank you guys for joining us. Morgan, everybody, go get yourself a Totinos pizza. Eat it fucking taco style. It's going to be great. You can find us on all these social medias here. Salt of the Street for me on Twitter, at Big Bird Offie for him on Twitter and on Instagram. Baby. And then I'm alpaca_Don on Instagram. Salt of the Streets on Instagram. Salt of the Streets on Facebook where you're at right here. YouTube at Salt of the Streets. SaltofTheStreets.com for fucking everything. Thank you. Check out the episode on Monday. Peace out. Have a good day. Drink you a beer. Thanks for the bag, Mom.